welcome. Thanks for joining. Hey, Aaron, there you are. So if you send me a request to join there we go.
Hi, Kelly.
Hey, here comes Aaron. Yay!
Thanks for having me.
Welcome. How are you?
Doing okay. This is kind of fun. It's just like I finally have a day off, so it's kind of fun to like have something that keeps me focused. And it's cool to catch up with you. How you doing?
I'm pretty good, thanks. Yeah, I'm super excited to have you on the live stream.
Same here. Yeah, excited to be here. You're really so good with this stuff, like keeping it going,
Oh, thanks.
keeping it real.
Yeah, I thought to myself, I don't have guests on very often. I think the
Really?
last time I had somebody on was like over a year ago, and it's like, I need to do this more often. So thanks for being game.
Yeah. Well done. I mean, I think I've learned a lot from just seeing how like you operate with promoting your stuff and I don't know,
Oh,
getting it out there into the world. You know,
oh,
stuff.
thanks. Yeah, well, you too. You have a new EP coming out very soon.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you. Very kind of you to mention. It was like kind of a wicked whirlwind last couple weeks, but I don't know. Thankfully, like I think we just get these ideas in our heads, like, oh, I'd so love to work with this so and so person, and whatever. I double dare yourself, like call them up, email them. But yeah, the dude
Totally.
I got to master it, Ryan Dahl, he mastered it, and I paid him the money. And it's like, wow, this sounds so weird and so cool because he did it on his tape machine and was like just blown away. And I think I just got really stressed out and then just decided, whatever. Don't know if you can swear on here, but like just
I think you can.
whatever. Like, fuck it, just release it.
Yeah.
And thank you for, yeah, hearing my tale about getting that record out because, making it almost killed me in a weird way. Not to sound over dramatic, but I don't know. Art can be like that.
Yes, it can sometimes. Well, I hope it's a rebirth for you after the almost killing.
That's kind of you to say, and it is. And you I think know about that stuff too. I'm not sorry, not to like super speculate or whatever, but like, well, everyone really. I mean, like, who hasn't had some kind of bizarre, life-changing, crisis-like experience that just
Totally.
yeah.
Yeah, I kind of feel like I've heard from so many people that that's happened during the pandemic too, right? Just people challenged in different ways. So I'm kind of a mix of positive and negative.
Weird stuff comes up.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. So for those of you tuning in, I'm just tracking who we've got in the
Yeah.
room.
Oh my God, there's so many cool people here that I
Yeah,
haven't
thanks for
seen in ages. This is
joining.
amazing. Thank you. I'm
So
with you in
welcome to
spirit.
Musical Mondays and welcome Aaron Trory. And Aaron and I were just talking about his upcoming EP. Sorry, let me just put down my
Can't
iPad
believe
here.
it.
And so if you're the kind of person that pre-saves things on the streaming platforms, Aaron has a pre-save campaign out right now. And we'll mention it at the end too, again. So
Very kind of you.
Oh, of course. Well, check Aaron's bio out on Instagram because the pre-save link is there. And I mention that because, in these days of like indie artists trying to make our way through the world, those pre-saves are pretty important to us. They help us get more exposure and tell the algorithms that, hey, people are digging this music.
You're so right. And I just did that whole you have to submit to the Spotify editor people
Oh yeah.
today and do your blurb in 500 words or less kind of thing. And boy, was that ever interesting. But it's so interesting, all the sneaky handshake type deals that go on behind the scenes in this new digital frontier age. Well, I guess it's not that new. The music's been digital for like 20 plus years now. But again, working with you and your diligence, like I've learned so much. And then also that Matt LaForest does, your graphics and has
Totally.
done with mine, and I've been listening to your track. I left it on repeat by accident, and I'm just like, oh, I'm just gonna not change it. It's kind of cool. Sounds great.
Awesome. Thanks for the streams.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah. Um, yeah, I see. Let's just see who else we've got here. Hello, folks who have joined. Tell us where you're tuning in from tonight. I am
Hi,
joining you
Jason.
from Victoria, BC, and I'm assuming you're in Vancouver tonight. Are you, Aaron?
I am indeed.
Yeah.
Thankfully, yes.
Okay. Cool. So I invited Aaron in to join the live stream to talk about, well, a little bit about just music generally, because Aaron's one of those people that I have learned so much about music from. Aaron's kind of, in some of the posts I did, I've called you a scholar of music because you're, I don't know, like, you know so much about music. You know, like if I mention a song or an artist, Aaron will know so much about that artist and like the backstory of the creation of a particular album or song. So it's amazing. So I've learned so much, and I really wanted to have a chance to chat with Aaron on Musical Mondays about some of the work we've done together and some of our own work. So here we are.
This is so nice because you and I talked on the phone not that long ago about doing something together, and it's so helpful to see you because it's such an underrated thing, like our body language, our facial expressions, and I mean, you're such a great listener, but as you like, you can't tell, kind of have a tendency to dominate conversations. So like, I could see you, and it's awesome.
Yeah.
It's very calming. Your music's very calming.
Yeah. You know, so the song that that kind of spurred me to say, hey, let's bring Aaron on Musical Mondays, I released today, and it's a live version of my song Reprieve. And some of you may remember that I released that song as a remix of it a couple of months back, a very different version of it, a synthwave version of it. So today I released a live version of it, and it was a live version that was recorded in, gosh, I think it was.
I'm gonna go with Pandora's.
Yeah, October 2020, right?
Yeah.
So that was kind of like right in the thick of the lockdown in 2020. So we weren't doing any live in-person shows, but Aaron and I and the rest of the band that played on my last album, we gathered at Pandora's in Vancouver and did like a live broadcast, recorded performance of the whole album from front to back that then I broadcast. So Reprieve, the recording of Reprieve that came out today, came from that recording. And you know, when I listened back to it, and I want to mention to give a shout out to Sheldon Zaharko, who did the recording and the video for that show. When I listened back to it, Reprieve, it was so beautiful. Like it gave me shivers. Like we were really in sync. I mean, for the whole show, but there was something about that song, and I was like, oh, I just want to release it because it just like
Wow.
there's so many feels in it. So
Yeah, I was kind of curious about that, and I was worried I messed that one up. I was worried that was one of the ones that I don't think I did that, though. Like when we were in the warehouse recording that, probably the summer into the fall of 2019, I'm gonna say.
Yep.
Before the world changed. I think we'd done it a fair amount of times, and we were probably just getting tired. So it's almost like there's a beat missing or something. Like we go into a section early as a band in the official recording, and I'm like, oh geez, I don't know how this is going to go. And I think live it's actually more even and smoothed out in your version. So it's so weird. Like I thought I screwed it up, but I didn't. But anyway, you are right, and I'd be happy to get more into like all that stuff you're talking about. But I was really impressed listening to it today on repeat. Reprieve on repeat.
Reprieve on repeat. Yeah, the sound was amazing that Sheldon captured in that recording. I don't, for those of you who are tuning in from elsewhere and may not know the local Vancouver music scene, Sheldon Zaharko from Zed Productions, it's really magic behind the board, and with his mic placements, and he does a lot of recordings of jazz and acoustic groups. So he was really encouraging me when I first started working with him to do live off the floor recordings, to kind of capture that dynamic and that vibe, that kind of synergy between the musicians. And I'm really glad he encouraged me to do that. So when we did the live broadcast, it really kind of comes through on that too, that kind of ethic of his for live recording.
Wow.
Interaction.
You're so right. I never thought of it that way, but it is kind of like put your money where your mouth is sort of thing. And it's like, no, we can really do this for real. I mean, that's such a huge risk, you took with going things about that way. But man, like, for you to trust your intuition and go like that, I mean, it's, yeah, looking back now, might not have realized it at the time, but wow, like, to think, and right now, like, there's still content from it, right?
Oh,
that
yeah.
You're releasing. So that's,
yeah,
I think it really paid off.
Totally. Yeah, it was such a rich time. And you mentioned intuition, Aaron, and that's one of the things, because you and I wanted to focus on intuition for a sec, because you and I met probably the fall of 2018, I'm going to say.
You are correct.
We did a show together. Yeah, and I hadn't met you before, but I'd heard your name in the Vancouver scene. And after I saw you play your own music, and which I love, Aaron's a fantastic songwriter, everybody, and guitarist, and just, has quite a wonderful kind of raw emotional vibe about his music that he communicates out. And after I saw Aaron, there was just something I thought, speaking of intuition, I thought, there's something about Aaron and the way he plays, and I love it. Like, I feel like he'd be a great fit for what I was looking for. And at the time, I was looking for a bass player, which is kind of funny because it's not your usual instrument, right?
Well, I have the physique. I'm about 6'2", so I have fairly long arms, etc. And physiologically speaking, I'm pretty much built to play that instrument. So it wouldn't have been the first time. And I think, doing all that work with you, I think it helped because someone commented that they'd seen a lot of photos of me on social media playing bass, and they're like, well, if people keep asking you and these things keep popping up, you must be good, or you must kind of know something. So I think that helped me get a job actually, teaching bass lessons occasionally, in addition to, what I really want to do is, vocal lessons, help people find their voice and all that stuff, and the guitar lessons, of course, and other stuff. So, I mean, again, I could talk all day about what it is to be a bass player or be a real bass player, but it's gotten me into a lot of trouble over the years, but in a good way. Like, it's opened a lot of doors. You've also been really good at just about hearing me and, like, I don't know, worries I've had, my boundaries, and just when it came to the point where it's like, I don't know, like, if I can keep doing this, because I'm, like, really burned out and I have to try to figure my own thing out now.
Yeah.
So thank you for that.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's important, right? It's a balance, kind of contributing to other people's stuff, but kind of finding the space and energy for your own.
Sure comes back to you, though. Wow.
Yeah. It's such a balancing act.
It's so funny, too. Yeah. I mean, I was starting to see your social media stuff, but that gig we played in Duncan was epic, because that's what I really wanted to do. I really wanted to just make weird sounds, ambient sounds while you played, and finally got to.
Yeah, that was totally fun. And then you continued that on Sturgeon Love.
Right.
Did a fantastic guitar ambient sounds that I just loved. It kind of made that song. So
that really kept me busy too. So thank you for that. Something to do as a musician. And but what you were saying about meeting in 2018 in the fall. Like, what a strange and interesting time for me. And looking back and actually seeing the role your music played in my life was like, I think, bigger than I realized at first.
Wow, thanks for saying that.
Yeah, it's funny too how like a lot of people, when I mention your name in conversation, Kele Fleming, it's so interesting what they say. I've never heard anyone say it about an artist, but they're like, "Oh yeah, like she really has this thing, or she really does something special with her voice," and it's true. When you capture that, which I think Reprieve does, especially the live version, when it's like this resonance thing, like pierces your soul. I don't know, it's hard to describe, but so just what, when you're putting your music out there, hopefully like it does something good in someone's life, because it did for me, and people
Yeah,
need that.
for sure. Well, that's what it's all about for me is reaching people and touching people. So yeah, I know what you mean, because I can feel that. I can feel that when that's happening, when I'm singing sometimes, and
Yeah.
there's nothing like that feeling. It's
Good.
yeah.
Yeah, it's what it's all about. I mean, luckily, now that I've been getting to do a bit of like involved with music teaching and stuff and kind of coaching, like when you see a singer really open up, like, the band is playing the song, and if I'm working with a mixing console, it's like they can hear themselves, and now you're adding a bit of echo. And when it's almost like a switch hits, and they kind of lose themselves, and like the eyes are closed, and it's like so magic. And I think when people are like that, when I've been lucky enough to be like that, I feel like I'm channeling something. And I think your song is doing that, Reprieve, both versions.
Yeah. Well, thanks, Aaron. You're so kind. Thank you for sharing those things with me and with
Cool.
everybody here. I think when we recorded Reprieve, and I guess I can't remember whether it was the summer or the fall session. And anyway, sometime
Yeah.
in 2019, when we recorded it, I think I kind of sprung the vocals on you, didn't I? Didn't I kind of ask
We
you like last minute?
maybe, I mean, I think we would have probably been practicing it because you booked a lot of sessions at Pandora's Hot Box rehearsal space, which there was something really cool about those sessions. But I mean, it's common when you're in the control room and people are getting ideas like, "Hey, what if you did this?"
Yeah.
So what I seem to remember is that can you repeat that last line? Like, can you keep repeating it? It's like, yeah, whatever, you're here in the booth, but no, I remember, people saying, "Hey, that was weird, that was cool," because I didn't really know what your song was about, but I kind of had a feeling, and um, so like like remind me of a Ouija board. Like all the players on the chessboard or whatever, like all the band members started to gel, and it's like whatever it was you were channeling in that song, like we all kind of became like, I don't know. So like you play guitar, right? And I was
Yeah.
playing bass, and Tony played the drums, whatever. So it's like Kele Fleming is playing an acoustic guitar, but what if the universe or whatever it is you're channeling is playing Kele Fleming or something? Or what if the universe is
Love it.
playing me, like I'm the instrument and I just happen to have a bass in my hand, or I'm at a microphone?
Yeah.
And it's like, how do you open yourself up to let that happen? I don't know,
Yeah.
but it probably did.
Yeah, it's true. And I wrote that song for a dear friend of mine who passed away in 2018. So yeah, I think you really hit on something there in terms of, love and remembrance and spirit kind of coming through in that song.
Very cool.
Yeah, and you guys seem to all feel it too, which I appreciated.
Wow. Way to go. I my issue and mastering the EP, the dude mastering it even said like, it's like, is this a live record? Like, do you want me to cut out just all this talking between the songs? And I'm like, I don't know. I think it's cool. And he's like, well, what if like the person hearing this, they can make it about what they relate to. Like, they don't have to hear your version of everything. And I'm just like, yeah, okay, it's whatever. We'll release that version. So kudos to you, because if it was me, I probably would have like gone off and told some weird, uncomfortable personal story about the song and maybe made everyone uncomfortable, but like we could kind of just, imagine whatever in our heads. So maybe that was better. Yeah. Definitely death was a theme for sure. Picked up on that.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, now I really can't wait to hear your EP if there's kind of things going on between the songs. I love that. I love to do that.
I think the Bandcamp, like I should put it on Bandcamp, the version before we cut out all that stuff. And then people can pay if they want. But the main version on streaming will just be like boom, 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 like 6-7 songs done, 27.5 minutes. But it's cool to relate to things. And usually people afterwards will want to know, if they want to know more, they'll find it. So there's also that interesting thing of like you're communicating with, this other world, like a spirit world kind of thing. And that can be really heavy. And there's that. So I just remember you and probably Sheldon talking to me from the control room when I was singing. And just like getting in this weird state and just like, whatever you want me to do, I'll do it. So I was like trying to be an open channel. And that was fun.
Well, you achieved it. Yeah, you did a beautiful job.
Thanks.
At that. Hey, I'm just looking at the chat. I'm just seeing if there's any questions from people. Please ask us questions. Lots of lovely comments. Thank you, people. Someone's saying sing it tonight or play Reprieve. Well, I would love for us to sing it, but we're in different locations, and I don't think the simultaneous stream of us singing it would work. So I wasn't going to make this a performance musical Mondays, more of a talking about, but I invite everybody to head off to whatever streaming platform afterwards and have a listen to the song for sure.
Do you think you might find any other tracks from that session, the live, and if they feel right?
Yeah, I think so. There might be a couple, I mean, all of it sounds pretty good, but there's I think the latest meme might be a fun one.
Cool.
But I might also look at a couple of the songs that I haven't released as singles, like maybe Lullaby for Gutenberg, or I'm forgetting the name of the song now. Oh, The Last Apple, which is a cool rocking song.
That was fun. Yeah, psychedelic. I mean, again, Scott Fletcher's work on The Last Apple like took it to the next level. And then again, Scott Fletcher's guitar playing on the song you released today, Reprieve Live. Even just at the end, like you're kind of going off and doing this whole vocal thing. It's just sort of happening spontaneously, and then he's like interacting, like he's playing what you're making up on the spot on guitar, and there's echo, and so that is really trippy to listen to.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. And thanks for mentioning that, because Scott didn't play on that song in the recording, so that was kind of a thing that happened on the spot. I remember him saying before we started the broadcast, or I think we ran through the set once before we started recording, and he said, "Oh, do you want me to play on this?" So it's like, and then he's kind of doing a duet with his guitar with my voice at that point in the song. It's pretty cool.
That was really cool. I never really knew like how to recreate that stuff live, because I remember we were rehearsing once, and I don't know what happened, if it was just the you, myself, and Tony rehearsing that time, but maybe I said, "Hey, what does this do? Let's turn up the echo on the board there." And I think in that rehearsal, I just remember you like adding extra stuff because your voice sounded so cool, all affected like that.
Yeah.
I would always think like, how do we do that live? Like that was so fun.
Yeah, it was.
You certainly did that time and captured it well.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, there's so much space in that song vocally. It's I love singing it because I love singing it, and I'm also terrified of singing it live because it's pretty challenging. Like it goes all over my vocal range, and it like takes a lot of like cardio capacity. So I really have to be on to do a good
Oh,
performance of that
dang.
song. But I love it. Like there's so much, I don't know, there's so much space to kind of improv and do different things with the voice in that song.
Wow. Yeah, I guess I never thought of that, and especially if you have to play guitar at the same time, that would be hard. Well,
Yeah.
please don't hate me for this suggestion, but I just thought of this just now. Like, I think you have that reverb pedal where you can press a button and it just like makes a sound indefinitely or whatever, or there's pedals
Yeah.
like that. Like, what if you just wow, what if you just hit one chord and had it going and you sang like basically a cappella the whole thing over a drone? That would be. Wonder what your vocals isolated would sound like on that song. Maybe this isn't the best time
That's
to
a pretty
discuss this,
cool
but
idea. I love that idea. That would be really cool live too. Yeah.
yeah,
Like well, I mean, I'm just there's just thinking about different avenues to get music, to kind of get the music out there. I've been thinking, I've been doing lots of remixes, but there's also like a whole ambient and drone movement in music out there that could be really interesting.
wow,
Anyway,
that really could be
I
too, like the Kelly
might
Fleming playlist when you're trying to fall
the
asleep.
drone version. Yeah,
Wow, yeah.
that's amazing. I love it. Um, Oops. I usually am just looking at the time for us. I try and keep my live streams 30 minutes or under, just so that then Instagram actually lets me save them and download them.
Very smart.
Yeah, because then I like to upload them to my YouTube. So I'm going to, maybe it's 7:28, so we've got a couple minutes. So I'm just maybe going to wind us down a little bit. And I know that people have been joining throughout the conversation, so they may have missed right off the top when I was introducing Aaron. And I just want people to know that Aaron has an EP coming out on March 15th called DIY Dentistry. So if you're a pre-saver, if you pre-save music, please give him a pre-save, give him some love, and check out Aaron's music on the streaming platforms. He's a fantastic songwriter and guitarist and singer. You won't be disappointed. Fantastic.
Wow, thank you.
You're welcome. And I just want to say thanks for joining me, Aaron. I love these. I love our conversations. And as you said, it's so fun to actually see each other's faces, because we often just talk on the phone. I love this. We'll have to do it again.
Ditto. Yes, please.
Yeah. Yeah. So I will. So Tracy has said great title. I think that's in response to your EP title. So to get us under that magical 30-minute mark, I'm going to sign us off and say big thanks to everybody for tuning in. And thank you so much to Aaron for joining and sharing your unique perspectives and your energy and your love with the world. Really appreciate it.
Pleasure.
Okay, take care, everybody.
See you.
Hope to see you next week. Talk to you soon, Aaron.
Bye.
Bye.
See you.